It co- God will waste time, leave this person alone. If nothing changes, nothing is going to be changed. I am Asian. Nobody knows Asians better than me. Hey friends, if you are new here, my name is York. This channel is talking about the language learning and self-improvement based on my own international experience. I have been international student in Australia for 2 years. I saw many people who've migrated in Australia for decades, but their English is still stuck in the beginner level. Also, many international students like me from any corner of the world, they somehow improve the English academically, which means they can got a perfect score in the exam. But it seems stuck in a certain level, still cannot express themselves articulately in English in their daily life. I was one of them. English is my third language, which followed by Korean and Chinese. But what a surprising change is I can host a public speech in the meeting, and also you can see this video I shoot in English. So I look back on my entire learning experience in the past and think what I did correct, and finally generate these 4 level up methods you can follow with. The first 2 points is mainly about ourselves, and the other 2 are talking about the others outside. This method or the loop is totally based on my own experience, which makes my English dramatically improved, and I believe you can do it too if you watch this video until the end. The first step I want to talk is not about the language itself, it's about switching our identity. Imagine you are socialized with others in the meetup event when you first time to come to Australia. People will start to discuss about identity with each other, and you just simply reply, I'm from India, I come from France, I'm Chinese, I'm international student. Yes, we are. This is just a tag of our identity to let others to remember us during the socializing and build a potential connection. But when we are actually learning a language as a learner's perspective, if we still nail ourselves in a conscious to treat ourselves as an international student, that means we still believe we are a visitor instead of English user. This is the core reason that made us, even though we are living in English such a long time, but still cannot see any progress or still stuck in the same level, no matter how long we stay. The problem is not the way we learn, it's how we identify ourselves when we are learning. So the solution is switching our identity in this way. No matter where you are from, when you open your mouth and start to talk in English, you are an English speaker. No matter whether you are qualified in writing English, when you will start to type your first letter, then you are the English writer. No matter if you are living in English-speaking country for whatever reason, at that moment, you are a resident in this nation. In this way, you can spontaneously realize it doesn't make us to directly pursue the outcome. It guides us to think about what type of person can achieve that goal and how we can be that person. Reflecting in our real life, it will be instead of just understand how to pronounce a word, you start to consider how a native speaker pronounces word and to minimize the speaking gap between a native speaker. Or instead of just look it up or translate it into your home language, you consider how a native speaker uses this word on what occasion, so that you can use this word in your next speaking to make it articulate. This is what I learned in this book, Automatic Habits by James Clear. I believe you'd read it too. It's quite popular. And it's regarding how identity to change our habits. Every behavior change is identity change. Switch from mother tongue to your target language is a huge behavior change. Once we switch our identity to be an English user, then use this pattern to fill the gap, then we need to face our problem. Step 2. Embrace the mistakes. I know it sounds kind of obeying our common sense of education, but I still want to say, I encourage making more mistakes. I am Asian. Nobody knows Asians better than me. One of our culturally considerations in our mind since we get educated is just shut up and find the correct answer. I can't say this is wrong. It probably works on doing a research or conducting a complex experiment which we think making a mistakes will cause the final result get foul. So you can realize the fear of making mistakes dominated the whole learning process. And it is what it is. We somehow just copy and paste this logic when we are learning a language. But it's a myth. As a trilingual speaker, My experience learning Mandarin Chinese and English told me the more mistakes I made right now, the more progress I will gain in my target language. It's simplified, a mistake is not equal to failure. On the contrary, failure is not caused by just making one single mistake. I am excited. I will not say it correctly until I realize I am exciting is a mistake. Or in other occasion, hey, how's it going? And I would not respond it correctly until I realize this guy is just say hi rather than I just tell him every single matter I met in the day. It was a mistake, so I just quickly respond next time. Not bad, great. How about you? Extra next time. So having a sense of ourselves to allow us to make a mistake will significantly reduce the fear of making mistakes. Based on this, the next two method is switching to the outside, which how we deal with others. Step 3. Ask and find a gap. Once you solved your problem, you have to involve others around you. When you suddenly hear a word you don't understand when you're talking with your colleagues, or you fail to listen really clearly about the pronunciation because of the hazy conversation, do not pretend to understand. Ask immediately. First, you pretend to understand. Maybe it doesn't matter you understand the whole conversation, but you still make the same mistake I mentioned in step 1. Allow yourself not to understand. If nothing changes, nothing is going to be changed. The second, ask immediately is not making people awkward or get annoyed. Instead, they will appreciate to ask you because it means they are focused on what they say. Our human being is socialized species. Language is the connection of it. If you're already surrounded by the local people or the English native environment, but still have no growth, that means you somehow to isolate it too much. Also, I find a benefit of asking others immediately to fill the gap of your language is this is also one of the best way to recognize whether a person is valuable to be connected. For instance, if you ask someone, "What do you mean by that? Could you repeat again, please?" If that person replies, "Oh, why you asking me this stupid question?" It happens sometimes if you have bad luck. But listen, if someone make fun of you just because you ask for a question to correct your speaking, then that person sucks enough. Do not waste time, leave this person alone. Maybe afraid others making fun of your language, but think about it, you just speak and try to speak another language. You have several multi-languages already, but that person is maybe just speak one single language. They don't have rights to making fun of you. Do not doubt about yourself. Making fun of your language is only proof that person is terrible, not you. On the contrary, if you met a person who can certainly answer you, guide you, or provide you positive, solid feedback, like me, then that person is valuable to connect or be a potential friend in the future. No one is responsible to teach you, but ask for others to get help actively is crucial for learning a language. Step 4. Make it yours, fill the gap. During whatever conversation or listening an audiobook every single morning like me, it's quite common to hear some words you don't understand. I recently found a new word when I read this book. Got where it is. Yeah, this word is spontaneous. I don't know what's the meaning of it at the beginning. If you were me, you have two options. Ignore it or make it yours. If you choose to ignore it, you need to turn this video back to watch my step 3. Once you realize this is a new word, you have to crave to make this word as yours. Because I believe you are not satisfied to just be a great English exam taker, right? You want to be the English user. Spontaneous describes those people who are self-conscious without any planning or pushing themselves to do it. It's natural behavior, like kind of the habits you do every single time. So the whole process of learning a fresh word or a phrase will input, will find the gap, and do output to fill the gap. This is the fully formed learning system. This method doesn't require you must have a tremendous willpower. You just need to have an awareness to find the gap, fill the gap, do the passive input, and do the active output. Trust me, you will find your lingual skill spontaneously. Spontaneous will growing on you spontaneously. I have already implemented this word in 3 times in this video. That's it. So this is the whole video so far. In a new cultural environment, shift your identity from a viewer to editor. Growth is always with the mistakes along the way. Allow yourself making mistakes when you are learning, and ask others to get support to find the gap and implement it to make it yours to do output to fill the gap. I've learned English for 10 years, but the most significant improvement is happened in these 2 years just implementing this system. And I also learned Mandarin Chinese for 2 years, and it proves it does work well. I hope you learned something from this video, and if it gives you some insights regarding language learning or whatever aspects, please let me know what, and leave me in the comments, let me know, so I can prove it next time. Thank you for watching. You are a great learner. Bye. Bye. See you next one.